This Christmas, California faced a storm like never before. Rivers became highways, snow trapped thousands, and entire communities were cut off. In just hours, holiday chaos turned into a fight for survival.
Off we go.
It began like any other Christmas week in California. Airports buzzing, highways packed, ski resorts fully booked, families loading cars with gifts, hot cocoa, and winter gear. Nothing seemed unusual. Forecasts warned of a strong storm, but nothing sounded out of the ordinary for December. Then, almost overnight, the holiday rhythm shattered. Watches became warnings, warnings became emergencies, and in the blink of an eye, California faced a storm no one had truly anticipated. By the first morning, chaos was already unfolding. Interstate 80 turned into a frozen river of stranded vehicles, families huddled in their cars, engines idling, blankets wrapped tight, keeping children and pets safe. Snow piled foot by foot, climbing over doors and bumpers. Roads that should have guided people home became traps. Mountain towns lost power as temperatures plunged into the teens. Flights meant to reunite families were delayed, canceled, and then canceled again. Every plan unraveled in real time. This storm wasn't just strong, it was relentless. It delivered blizzards in the Sierra Nevada, flooding in the valleys, and dangerous winds across deserts. Every corner of California experienced a different face of disaster. In Mammoth and Tahoe, ski tourists found their winter getaway transformed into a survival scenario. Hotels extended reservations, restaurants stayed open late, and locals helped stranded guests. For some, it was the best snow of their lives. For others, it was a harsh reminder of how quickly conditions can turn deadly. Highways became rivers of ice and snow. Chain checkpoints were set up as visibility dropped to near zero. Plows ran non-stop, yet cleared lanes disappeared faster than crews could maintain them. Lower elevations weren't spared, rivers rose, storm drains backed up, and neighborhoods already familiar with flooding braced again. Emergency alerts flashed constantly. Dangerous travel, life-threatening conditions, stay off the roads. But the storm moved faster than the warnings, catching thousands mid-journey. By day 3, the ripple effect intensified. Power failures rolled through mountain and foothill communities. Trees, weighed down by heavy snow and blasted by fierce winds, collapsed onto lines. Gas stations overflowed, grocery stores emptied, and hospitals braced for emergencies that never paused. Avalanches closed backcountry roads, while mudslides threatened burn-scarred slopes above small towns. The storm wasn't just a weather event. It was a statewide crisis, unfolding minute by minute. Inside the chaos were human stories that numbers alone cannot capture. Families in stranded vehicles shared food and blankets with strangers, creating impromptu communities in freezing traffic jams. Elderly residents wrapped in layers relied on wood stoves and neighbors checking in door to door. Ski tourists laughed through exhaustion as powder stacked higher than ever, while realizing the access roads could vanish at any moment. First responders carried the heaviest burden, highway patrol officers directing traffic in whiteout conditions, plow operators working 12 to 16-hour shifts, search and rescue teams responding to stranded hikers and skiers, and firefighters answering reports of crashes, carbon monoxide alarms, and medical emergencies worsened by blocked roads. Many missed family gatherings entirely, eating cold meals in patrol cars and break rooms. The storm's intensity was not accidental. Two powerful ingredients collided over California at exactly the wrong time. First, a moist Pacific atmospheric river, a long plume of tropical moisture, carried enormous amounts of water vapor toward the coast. On its own, this would have meant soaking rain and mountain snow. Then came a surge of Arctic air, descending from Canada and plunging the Sierra Nevada and interior valleys into freezing temperatures. When these systems met over the mountains, the result was explosive. Heavy precipitation fell into cold air, stacking feet of snow instead of inches. Mountains acted as walls, forcing the moisture upward, cooling rapidly, and dumping snow at extreme rates. Donner Summit, Tahoe, and Mammoth saw snow accumulate so fast that plows could not keep up. Meanwhile, lower elevations stayed warm enough for rain, producing flooding instead of snow. The storm produced three hazards at once: blizzards in the high country, flooding in valleys, and powerful winds in deserts and coastal passes. And it wasn't fast-moving. It stalled and reloaded, arriving in multiple waves over several days. Each wave fell on saturated soil and existing snowpack, increasing avalanche risks in the mountains and mudslide potential in burn-scarred hills. Meteorologists called it a textbook example of a modern winter storm. Highly dynamic, slow-moving, moisture-loaded, capable of producing multiple hazards simultaneously. Economic impact was severe and immediate. Winter tourism surged and stalled at the same time. Ski resorts faced record demand, yet access roads closed unpredictably, leaving some guests stranded and others turned away. Small towns experienced full restaurants and empty shelves simultaneously as supply trucks were delayed. Downed power lines, flooded neighborhoods, collapsed carports, and destroyed vehicles added millions of dollars in losses. Insurance claims spiked. Cleanup crews worked non-stop to remove fallen trees, clear snow from rooftops, and reopen buried roads. Airport shutdowns rippled through the broader economy, canceling cargo flights and leaving workers stranded. Families lost food when power outages lasted hours, and hotel bills soared for those trapped far from home. Emergency agencies shifted into full storm mode. Counties opened warming shelters. The National Guard prepared for rescue missions. Search and rescue teams staged high-clearance vehicles in remote areas. Public works departments worked around the clock to maintain critical routes. Officials emphasized lessons learned from past storms, but admitted that holiday traffic, multi-hazard conditions, and infrastructure strain pushed systems to their absolute limits. By the time skies finally cleared, California was left with a deep snowpack, damaged infrastructure, exhausted first responders, and a long list of repairs. The storm was over, but the aftermath, financial, emotional, and logistical, was only beginning. And for many, The fear lingered. Another system could arrive at any moment. The storm will be remembered long after the snow melts and floodwaters recede. It was more than weather. It was a stress test for families, travelers, and communities. It revealed how quickly plans collapse, how dependent we are on roads, power lines, and services, and how deeply people step up for one another when conditions turn dangerous. From blizzards in the Sierra to flooding along the coast, a single storm created a statewide chain reaction. The storm left questions. How prepared are we for the next extreme event? Are power grids, highways, and emergency plans ready for winters that are becoming stronger, longer, and more unpredictable? On a personal level, do we have what we need if a routine trip suddenly becomes a survival situation? California's Christmas storm was not just a holiday event. It was a powerful reminder that nature does not follow schedules. It tests infrastructure, patience, and human endurance. It shapes communities and redefines expectations of safety. And for those who lived through it, the memory of a Christmas transformed by snow, flood, and wind will last a lifetime. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, when the forecast changes, nature always writes the final line. This Christmas, California faced a storm like never before. Rivers became highways, snow trapped thousands, and entire communities were cut off. In just hours, holiday chaos turned into a fight for survival.